Trustee Martin, I think it's time to start.
And we are live.
Okay, thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
The September 16, 2021 Academic Affairs and Student Affairs Committee is now called to order. Before we get started, I actually want to welcome Dr. William Johnson to the board and to the Academic Affairs and Student Affairs Committee as the new faculty trustee. Dr. Johnson is a professor in the Department of Human Performance and Sports Science, and also serves as the director of HCA Scholars Program and the director of HPSS graduate programs. I look forward to serving with you on this committee, Dr. Johnson and the board.
Thank you.
In getting started, we need to make certain findings on the record regarding the necessity for conducting this meeting by electronic participation without a physical quorum present due to the coronavirus pandemic. In accordance with the Tennessee Code annotated section 8-44-108B2, as chair of the Academic Affairs. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
I offer the following facts and circumstances in support of the finding of necessity for the Academic Affairs and Student Affairs Committee to conduct this meeting without a physical quorum presence. The Academic Affairs and Student Affairs Committee is scheduled to take up important committee matters that require timely action by the committee, including the approval of program modification, tenure recommendation, and key reports on accreditation and CARES Act funding. Participation by electronic means is necessitated by ongoing health and safety issues pertaining to the COVID-19 pandemic. Electronic participation for the committee meeting is necessary to ensure the safety of all board members, staff, and guests while the institution implements additional measures to resume its in-person operation. Accordingly, I move that the Academic Affairs and Student Affairs Committee find that participation by a quorum of the Academic Affairs and Student Affairs Committee members by electronic means of communication is necessary. Is there a second?
Second.
The questions on the motion to find that participation by a quorum of the Academic Affairs and Student Affairs Committee members by electronic means of communication is necessary. Secretary Pillington, please call the roll.
Trustee Martin,
Yes.
Trustee Johnson,
Yes.
and Trustee Andre Johnson is not available. So we it still passes by majority.
Okay, thank you. The motion carries. We'll proceed with the meeting. At this time, we need to call the roll. Secretary Pillington, please call the roll, sir.
Trustee Martin,
Here.
Trustee Johnson,
Here.
we have a quorum.
Thank you.
Oh, and also acknowledge our student trustee, Trustee Thomas.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Committee members, if you cannot hear or speak to the other committee members of the board, please state so now. For each committee member participating electronically, please identify any individuals who are present in the location which you are participating. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the June 17, 2021 Academic Affairs and Student Affairs Committee meeting minutes. The Academic Affairs and Student Affairs Committee June 17, 2021 meeting minutes are included for your review in the board materials for the September 16, 2021 board meeting. I move for the Academic Affairs and Student Affairs Committee to recommend to the full board the approval of the June 17, 2021 Academic Affairs and Student Affairs Committee meeting minutes as contained in board materials for the September 16, 2021 board meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? The questions on the motion to recommend to the full board the approval of the June 17, 2021 Academic Affairs and Student Affairs Committee meeting minutes as contained in board materials for the September 16, 2021 board meeting. Secretary Plumpton, please call the roll.
Trustee Martin,
Yes.
trustee William Johnson,
Yes.
The motion is approved. The next item on the agenda is the approval of an academic program modification, a change to the PhD in biology admission standards. The materials for this agenda item are included for your review in the board materials for the September 16, 2021 board meeting. I'm asking President Glover or her designee to provide information in connection with this agenda item.
Dr. Harris. Provost Harris.
Good morning. Thank you, President Glover. Good morning to all, and good morning, Trustee Martin. We asked to modify the PhD in biology to remove the GRE requirement that will no longer be needed as entry condition to the program.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Glover, you have anything to add to that?
No, thank you.
you're on mute, trustee Martin.
Sorry. I move for the Academic Affairs and Student Affairs Committee to recommend to the full board the approval of an academic program modification, a change to the PhD in biology admission standards as contained in board materials for the September 16, 2021 board meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? The questions on the motion to recommend to the full board the approval of an academic program modification, a change to the PhD in biology admission standards as contained in board materials for the September 16, 2021 board meeting. Secretary Pendleton, please call the roll.
Trustee Martin,
Yes.
trustee William Johnson,
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
The motion is approved. The next item on the agenda is the approval of an academic program modification, a change to the MS Professional School Counseling Admission Standards. The materials for this agenda item are included for your review in the board materials for the September 16, 2021 board meeting. Dr. Glover, will you or your designee provide information in connection with this agenda item, please?
Thank you. Provost Harris.
Thank you, President Glover. Trustee Martin, we are asking please to remove the GRE and the MAT as a requirement for admission to this to the MS in a professional school counseling program.
Dr. Glover, you have anything to add to this?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Harris. I move for the Academic Affairs and Student Affairs Committee to recommend to the full board the approval of an academic program modification, a change in the MS Professional School Counseling Admission Standards as contained in board materials for the September 16, 2021 board meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? The question is on the motion to recommend to the full board the approval of an academic program modification, a change to the MS Professional School Counseling Admission Standards as contained in board materials for the September 16th, 2021 board meeting. Secretary Pendleton, please call the roll.
Trustee Martin,
Yes,
trustee William Johnson,
Yes.
thank you. The motion is approved. The next item on the agenda is the approval of an academic program modification, the method of instructional delivery via online, Master's in Business Administration, College of Business. Dr. Glover, will you or your designee provide information connected to this agenda item, please?
Thank you. Dr. Harris?
Thank you, President Glover. Trustee Martin, we are asking permission from the board, please, to approve that we can deliver the MBA in the College of Business online.
Thank you, Dr. Harris. I move for the Academic Affairs and Student Affairs Committee to recommend to the full board the approval of an academic program modification, a change to the method of instructional delivery via online, Master's in Business Administration, College of Business, as contained in board materials for the September 16, 2021 board meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? The questions on the motion to recommend to the full board the approval of an academic program modification, a change to the method of instructional delivery via online, Master in Business Administration, College of Business, as contained in your board materials for the September 16, 2021 board meeting. Secretary Pendleton, please call the roll.
trustee Martin,
Yes.
trustee William Johnson,
Yes.
Thank you. The motion is approved. The next item on the agenda is the approval of an academic program modification, the method of instructional delivery via online, Master of Science in Agricultural Science. Dr. Glover, will you or your designee provide information in connection with this agenda item, please?
Thank you. Dr. Harris, continue.
Thank you, President Glover. Trustee Martin, we are asking for permission of the board to deliver online the Master of Science in Agricultural Science in the College of Agriculture, please.
Thank you, Dr. Harris. I move for the Academic Affairs and Student Affairs Committee to recommend to the full board the approval of an academic program modification, a change to the method of instructional delivery via online, Master of Science in Agricultural Science, as contained in materials for the September 16, 2021 board meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? The questions on the motion to recommend to the full board the approval of an academic program modification, a change to the method of instructional delivery via online, Master of Science in Agricultural Science as contained in board materials for the September 16, 2021 board meeting. Secretary Pendleton, please call the roll.
trustee Martin,
Yes.
trustee William Johnson,
Yes.
Thank you. The motion is approved. The next item on the agenda is the approval of a new academic program, Graduate Certificate in Higher Education Administration Leadership. Dr. Glover, will you or your designee provide information pertaining to this agenda item, please?
Thank you. Dr. Harris?
Thank you, President Glover. Trustee Martin, we are asking the board's approval, please, for a new program, a certificate in the College of Education. It's a graduate certificate, of course, and it's in Higher Education Administration Leadership. We call it short HEAL. We're asking for this approval.
Thank you, Dr. Harris and President Glover. I move for the Academic Affairs and Student Affairs Committee to recommend to the full board the approval of a new academic program, Graduate Certificate in Higher Education Administration Leadership, as contained in board materials for the September 16, 2021 board meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? The questions on the motion to recommend to the full board the approval of a new academic program, graduate certificate in higher education administration leadership, as contained in board materials for the September 16, 2021 board meeting. Secretary Pendleton, please call the roll, sir.
Trustee Martin,
Yes.
trustee William Johnson,
Yes.
Thank you. The motion is approved. The next item on the agenda is the approval of a new academic program, graduate certificate in higher education administration leadership. Dr. Glover, will you or your designee provide information with this agenda item, please?
Harris,
Thank you, President Glover. Trustee Martin, we are asking the board approval, please, for a new program, graduate certificate in public health in the College of Public Health, please.
Thank you, Dr. Harris. I move for the Academic Affairs and Student Affairs Committee to recommend to the full board the approval of a new academic program, graduate certificate in public health as contained in board materials for the September 16th, 2021 board meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? The questions on the motion to recommend to the full board the approval of a new academic program, graduate certificate in public health as contained in board materials for the September 16, 2021 board meeting. As contained in your board materials. Secretary Pendleton, please call the roll.
trustee Martin,
Yes,
trustee William Johnson,
Yes.
thank you. The motion is approved. The next item on the agenda is the approval of an additional academic year 2020-2021 tenure recommendation. The materials for this agenda item are included for your review in board materials for the September 16, 2021 board meeting. Dr. Glover, will you or your designee provide information regarding this agenda item, please?
Dr. Harris, go ahead.
Thank you, President Glover. Trustee Martin, we are asking the board's approval for tenure for the two individuals that are listed here. They were supposed to be on the September 16 list, and they weren't. So we're asking for tenure for both of them. They qualify and have earned it. That's our recommendation. And to the president and the president team.
Thank you, Dr. Harris and Dr. Glover. I move for the Academic Affairs and Student Affairs Committee to recommend to the full board the approval additional academic year 2020-2021 tenure recommendations as contained in board materials for the September 16, 2021 board meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? The questions on the motion to recommend to the full board the approval of the additional academic year 2020-2021 tenure recommendation as contained in your board materials for the September 16, 2021 board meeting. Secretary Pendleton, please call the roll, sir.
trustee Martin,
Yes,
trustee William Johnson,
Yes.
thank you. The motion is approved. The next item on the agenda is the report on SACS accreditation review matters. Information pertaining to this agenda item is included in the September 16, 2021 board materials. Again, I'm asking President Glover or her designee to provide pertinent information related to this agenda item. This is informational discussion only, so no vote will be required.
Thank you. Continue, Dr. Harris.
Thank you, President Glover. Trustee Martin, as you know, this will be a very brief update. As you know, on March 16, 18, we had a visit here for the SACS 10-year reaccreditation. We were very proud that out of all the standards that SACS has, we all worked very hard under the leadership of President Glover to assure that we were in compliance with all the standards, except two that we're still working on. Standard 13.2, which is a core financial documents, and standard 13.4, which isn't a core and it's control of finances. The work is going on, and we have until September 30th to present it to SACS. At that time, after it will be presented, SACS will, their board will have it in their hands around December, and December 4 to 7 is the time that the Board of Trustees makes decisions on reaffirmation. So that's the update on SACS and where we currently are.
Excellent. Dr. Glover, did you have anything to add to that?
No, just only just to say that the audits, one is already complete and one is essentially complete for 2 years. And we will receive those any day now. And as soon as we get those, we can just go ahead and submit those to SACS CLC. We will have met the 13.2 and 13.4 requirement.
Excellent. And is Dr. Anderson on? I know she was the one leading this charge.
We brought
Yes.
Dr. Anderson on to assist us to run the accreditation and get A2A straight, and then to that's part of her duties. I'm not sure if she's on or not.
Okay.
Is Dr. Anderson on? Hang on, Dr. Anderson. Dr. Anderson, hold on, Dr. Harris. Let me get Dr. Anderson and see if she's here. Dr.
Yes.
Anderson, are you here? She's
Yes.
calling on you. A board member's calling on you. You have to respond.
Dr. Anderson, I just wanted to see if you had anything to add to this.
Yes, good morning, and thank you, President Glover and Trustee Martin. I do not have anything else to add.
Okay, thank you. Well, it sounds like that we are going in the right direction. I appreciate all the hard work that has gone into this. Dr. Harris, thank you so much for your leadership on this. Dr. Glover, your leadership as well. And Dr. Anderson, thank you for everything that you've done. We appreciate everybody coming together as a team and making this happen and moving forward past this. Thank you.
Can I ask one quick question? This is Bill Johnson.
Yes.
Just to be clear, so our work for the audit is done and it's been passed on to THEC, and we're waiting for them to return back. Is that correct?
Not THEC, it had to return to the auditors. Yes, our work is done. We've submitted, as auditors begin to review financial statements and processes, they generally ask for more information. And so after we submitted everything, there were additional questions. And so I think we've submitted the last bit of information now. They can always come back and ask for anything. And so as they ask for additional clarifying information, we submitted to them. That's where we are now. We've submitted everything to them. And it just takes a moment or two for them to get all the notes. It's more than just numbers. It's a whole financial statement audit that has to have management information, audit notes to the financial statements. And so they're still working on it, and they're working as fast as they can. We're in contact with them. And as soon as it's done, they're going to submit it to us. And we'll get it back to the board.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the Academic Affairs Report. Information regarding this Academic Affairs and Student Affairs Committee agenda item is included in your September 16th, 2021 board materials. Again, I'm asking President Glover or her designee to provide information related to this agenda item. Again, this is an informational discussion item only, so no vote will be required.
Dr. Harris, Provost Harris.
Thank you, President Glover, Trustee Martin. My updated presentation will be brief. I just want to begin with programs that we just started now that were approved by the board. We are very, very strategic in what we're doing We are also tactical and responsive. We are working with President Glover constantly to make sure that academic affairs is current, is relevant, is adjusting fast to the changing environment in terms of students, economic and social environment, technology, and so on. That is reflected in our day-to-day work, besides, of course, running the business of academic affairs daily. So there's really a lot of things going on a daily basis in that sense, to be strategic, to look a year, 5 years down, and also to make sure that we're addressing all student needs to maintain academic excellence and student success during these times. And that's why you saw our requests for examples were for online and new certificates. Certificates is something that we started a few years ago, and now we're enhancing them because they've become something that especially working individuals enjoy and want, and there's a demand for it, and we want to meet demands wherever it is. The other, of course, is online. We have moved, and we're moving faster now to offer programs online. So there, what I'm trying to say is that with the updates that a few out that I'll give now and other things, we're working with President Glover constantly that it will be strategic, tactical, and responsive, and not, these are not just random kind of items that might sound in a report like, oh, we're doing this and we're doing that. So saying that, it's in your documents, of course. I won't get in to many details, but I will say that we have revised University 1000 course. That's a course that all freshmen at Tennessee State University have to take. We made it more relevant. We made it more adjusted for these times. And especially we added their elements to create a stronger bond between the freshmen and the university the first year that they come, because we certainly believed that, not that it wasn't good, it was an excellent course, but it needed to bring up some things that were missing and changed. We worked on it. Of course, all these things take, I want to make clear, the deans, the chairs, the faculty, and the result is that we have enhanced the curriculum for that program. The second thing that I'd like to share with the board, it sounds kind of technical and silly, but it really will bring about a big difference. And that has to do with transfer students. We know many students in the United States transfer. We, of course, at Tennessee State University continue to work hard to enhance transfer students to us. We had a system, and at Tennessee State University, until you have 30 hours and anywhere, you're considered still a freshman. And when you're a freshman, you get advising from the Academic Success Center. And when you pass the 30 hours, you are advised by the department. We had a situation in which if you passed 30 hours, you're a transfer student, you needed to get advising in the department, but there was a hold. The advisors, the chairs, the deans, the faculty could give advice, but they couldn't take off the hold to make it official. And that caused a bureaucracy and difficulty. Wherever we identify that things are slowing us down or there's a bureaucratical hinder, we address it. We've changed it, and now students that transfer, they have more than 30 hours, they go directly to the department, and the department, the advisors, the chairs, the deans remove the hold, advise the students, and everyone moves on. And we cut a layer that was for quite a while a cause for back and forth and a waste of time. In terms of more programs that you will see down the line, as I said, We're working with President Glover on a variety of things. We have a PhD in agriculture that it's making its way through the system. One correction, it will begin in fall 2022. That includes all the work we do with the department, the college, THAC, and SACS. And we make sure that when the and of course, final approval by the board, when a program has gone through the system, it has fulfilled all the approvals that need to be. We are working on a bachelor's in Africana Black Studies that has done tremendous progress, and I hope at the next board meeting to be able to present it to you for approval. We are also working on a PhD in higher education. That is something that is in demand, and we've done much progress in that. And the plan is to begin this program in fall 2022. It went once through the board in 2017. We have picked it up and pushed it now, getting approvals and so on, and it will come back to you. I mentioned already the online in MBA, and I just want to mention that there are more programs that we are working on. And I also want to say that we do so with not only to make sure that we are current, relevant, looking forward. It's good for our brand and it attracts students, but we also keep a tight eye on being physically very responsible and make sure that we don't just do it with adding resources. That we try to be very, very not only effective but also efficient by doing that. So that is not lost on us. Next is the strategic plan that came to you at the time, the Pathway to Excellence 2025. Much work has gone into this plan during the past year, again, with faculty participation, staff participation. A lot has happened there. Mainly what we have done during this first year, we said it's a breathing document. We tightened it up to things that we really want to focus on. It was very broad. We tightened it up. The plan was evaluated using a SMART model, and year 2 implementation will focus on guiding departments in assessment of the data, collection of established strategies, and adjusting what they are doing and the colleges are doing to in regard to this strategic plan. So we feel we're in a good place there. Last but not least, you've all heard a lot about QEP and the SACS visitors like our QEP program. There's of course in your material details. Since then, I would like to update you that we have hired a coordinator. We have a board that oversees it, and much work has been gone into it. It will have significant impact on retention and graduation. And that, Trustee Martin, concludes my update from academic affairs.
Thank you, Dr. Harris. Dr. Glover, you have anything to add to that?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Great report. Are there any questions or comments?
I have a quick question about the PhD in higher education. We currently offer an EDD in higher education. How does this, I'm assuming we'll get more details on how the two compete against each other. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. And we are moving to the PhD in education as in relation to what I said earlier. We know that the demand for the PhD in higher education has gone up significantly, while the EDD, which used to be the hallmark of the College of Education, the interest in that is declining somewhat. We also hope that the certificate that we approved earlier today we're going to build it in so it will be a path towards that PhD as well to the ADD. So to make sure that no one wastes any hour of education.
And Dr. Johnson, as you know, the EDD is more a professional degree designed for practitioners pursuing educational leadership roles. And as we move more toward a research institution, as we start our climb to R1, the PhD is the degree that's going to prepare graduates for research and teaching roles. But as we go higher level research, we want to make sure we got the PhD in education ready to go.
Thank you.
Chair Martin, I have a question.
Yes.
For Dr. Harris. Dr. Harris, how does one get a little bit more information on the strategic plan evaluation report if one is interested?
We have all the information, and we could submit it to the president. Has it all, and there's no problem. Whatever the president decides, that's good with us. We have all detailed.
Mr. Pinnock, you may want to just have a quick meeting with Provost Harris so he can take you through where we are with the strategic plan. And that way it may be better than just reading all the way through it. You can just have a discussion as we go along, even if that fits your schedule.
That would be fine, yes. Thank you.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the report of research funding and programs. Information regarding this agenda item, this Academic Affairs and Student Affairs Committee agenda item is included in your September 16, 2021 board materials. President Glover, will you or your designee provide information related to this agenda item? And again, this is informational discussional item only, so no vote will be required.
Well, thank you. As much as I like to present this myself, we've asked if Dr. Williams will present this to you, since she is the Associate VP over that area.
Thank you, President Glover and Trustee Martin. I am proud to report that during fiscal year 2021, TSU faculty and staff were awarded a record $70.7 million in grants and contracts. This is a 28%, This is a 28% increase over the fiscal year 2020 amount, which was previously the highest amount received at TSU. This increase in grant awards received shows the commitment of our faculty and staff to scholarly achievement, even during the pandemic. So we are excited about these awards because they provide substantial resources to the university to support performance of cutting edge research, student scholarships, student and faculty development and training, capacity and infrastructure development, as well as outreach to the community. The awards were received from a number of various funded agencies, and some of these agencies include the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, the National Science Foundation, the U.S. Department of Agriculture, and various other agencies. So again, these efforts illustrate the growth and progression of TSU as a research institution. So in addition to our increased research awards, I would like to point out that during fiscal year 21, our faculty and staff also submitted the highest number of proposals to various funded agencies. So they were quite busy and productive research-wise. So I commend our faculty and staff, researchers, for continuing to participate in these scholarly activities. Some of the investigators and new awards are highlighted in the documents that you have. And so I won't go through them, but you'll see the diversity of the awards and the fact that our awards are across all colleges at the university. In terms of upcoming activities for the Division of Research and Sponsored Programs, some of these activities include facilitating a faculty development series and basically continuing and expanding our faculty development seminar series to enhance faculty and staff scholarly productivity. We also hope to be able to resume taking faculty on visits to funding agencies so that they can meet directly with program officers about new funding opportunities. Of course, with COVID, we've had to suspend that initiative, but we hope to be able to pick up soon. We are also working on a number of initiatives to support and promote innovation and technology transfer through the expansion of the RSP Office of Technology Transfer. So earlier this year, the board approved our updated intellectual property policy. So now we are providing seminars and workshops that educate our faculty and staff in these areas, especially regarding submissions of invention disclosures. Lastly, I would just like to highlight that we are also deploying a new proposal and grants administration software that will help to streamline some of the processes for faculty and staff from the proposal development stage all the way to the post-award stage. So we think this will be a great software and resource for faculty in regards to their research and scholarly activities, and that it will help with the efficiency and tracking of processes across multiple offices at the university. So this ends my report.
Dr. Glover, you have anything to add to that?
No, thank you very much.
I can see why you would want to do the report yourself. As I was reviewing the board materials, I was amazed at everything that TSU is doing. Excellent work. The pandemic has done nothing but speed you up. I was amazed. So Dr. Glover, now you know what your team can do. And the only thing about setting records is trying to compete with them the next year. So thank you everyone for all the hard work that you've put into that.
Madam Chair, can I say one thing?
Absolutely, sir.
I just want to thank Dr. Williams. What an extraordinary accomplishment, your work, this just makes my heart sing. And I know that this is certainly a very, very positive thing for the university to see you reach these benchmarks and even surpass them. And so just wanted to just encourage you to continue to keep on keeping on, because this is really good news. And thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
Yes. The next item on the agenda is the report of student housing. Information regarding this Academic Affairs and Student Affairs Committee agenda item is located in your September 16, 2021 board materials. Again, President Glover, I'm asking you or your designee to provide information to this particular agenda item. Again, this is informational discussion item only, so no vote will be required.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm calling on Associate Vice President of Student Affairs, Dean Frank Stevenson. Dean Stevenson. You're on mute.
Thank you, Madam President, and thank you, Trustee Martin. I want to share with this board where we are with our student housing. This particular semester was very interesting for us, as we had an unprecedented number of students that requested to stay in campus housing. Our largest request for student housing in the history of the university, and certainly a big jump from years past. We understand the importance of student housing, particularly for students who are out of state, and their ability to attend the university is really rooted in their ability to receive housing through the university. And so we're committed to that. And I am so proud of our housing staff, who worked really hard to make sure that we had all of the accommodations that were necessary, and they dug in all of our staff, our executive director, from the RAs, all of them really leaned into this process. So we realized an upward trend in July, and we have a chart in your board materials that kind of show where we've been over the last few years. Obviously, we were down in housing numbers last year due to COVID and the pandemic. So that number is obviously much different from the other numbers. Our housing capacity is 2,960 students currently. That's our on-campus housing capacity. And as you can see, outside of last year, we've always kind of been over that number by 150, 160 or so. And typically, sometimes that number will dwindle based on students who don't show. But we've typically been over that number by about 160 to 150. At the peak, maybe 200. And so this year was, again, quite different in that we're housing a much greater number of students off campus, 479 students in off-campus housing currently, 259 at the Best Western, and 163 at the House of God. And we do appreciate the State Building Commission for working with us to get this approved pretty urgently. We put all of the things that are necessary to make sure that the students who are off campus would still appreciate their collegiate experience, including making sure we have around-the-clock security, armed and unarmed security. We make sure they have Wi-Fi, shuttle buses. We've done some events at both locations so that they will feel inclusive of the campus community. And so in talking to my colleagues at other universities about their housing situation, it's really obvious that we're different and pretty unique and have a unique set of circumstances. The biggest unique set of circumstances for Tennessee State University is that we are in Nashville, Tennessee, that has one of the hottest housing markets. So we've seen a trend over the last 7 to 8 years of students who not only were not moving off campus, but students who started moving back to campus. And so by their senior and junior year, they were moving back to campus. And so that was a major uptick in housing needs. Our students can't afford to live in Nashville. A lot of them can't afford to live here. And so we've been working on this. This was somewhat of a perfect storm, and we've got a fix. We know where we're charging forward. We're excited to announce that in 11 months, 12 days, and 4 hours, we will have a new 70,700,000 bed housing facility. It is state of the art. It allows us to be very flexible in how we accommodate students. It allows students to live in pods according to their interests. And so again, it's going to be exciting, and it allows us to push forward. We would have loved for that to have been ready this semester, but we are excited about it being ready when we welcome our new freshman class next year. And again, it is an amazing opportunity, and also we are preparing and for the fall to have our first opportunity in a long time to house graduate students. And so we have that plan, and we will execute that. We're integrated into the university's master plan so that we can make sure that all of the housing needs are met. We do want to start taking some of our older buildings offline, and so we're working towards that. I say all that to say that we accommodated all of our students, and I know that it created some stress for them because typically they would have their assignments much sooner, and some of them got their assignments when they arrived, and so that was a little frustrating for them. And it again was a little bit of the perfect storm, but we were able to accommodate them, and we're excited about what the future looks as it relates to student housing.
Dr. Glover, you have anything to add to that?
Just want to add on behalf of TSU, our thanks to the to the building commission and to the governor's office and his appointees for what they did to, in a matter of days, to assist us in getting off-campus housing. It was sort of an emergency meeting they had, in the sense of emergency, to have a meeting to address our needs that came about during the registration process. It was not their scheduled meeting, but they added us to an agenda item and worked with us to get this done, as far as getting a contract signed for the off-campus location. So we appreciate that. And secondly, we want to say thank you to the Congressional Black Caucus for what they did to get this CARES funding for us, so that we could have the funds to engage with an off-campus unit. But for the Congressional Black Caucus pushing it through, we would not have had been able to get the $1 million required to move off campus.
Trustee Martin. If
Yes.
I might, I'm sorry, I lost connection just a moment ago. I've changed computers, so maybe it'll be better. But first, I just want to say, as I was losing connections to Dr. Williams, congratulations on a great job, a job done well. But in this particular instance, I want to say congratulations to Dr. Glover and Mr. Stevenson, in that their leadership in getting the housing taken care of. I know how hard they worked. I got a call very early in the morning. I won't mention from home, but I know how very hard they worked to get that done and to provide security in those particular spaces where we had to place students, which was critical and was addressed in a very professional and very expedient manner. So these last two reports have been outstanding.
Thank you for that. And I must agree with you. A lot of work has gone into that. Dr. Glover and her team, Dean Stevenson, the entire team had to work very hard to accommodate a lot of students. And as Dr. Glover stated earlier, we must give thanks to our governor and the Tennessee Black Caucus that stepped up and supported and got a lot of things done for Tennessee State University. So now we see what happens when everyone comes together and works as one to make things happen. So thank you, everyone. Are there any additional questions or comments?
Madam Chair, I have a comment.
Okay, thank you.
I just wanted to say on behalf of the students that I did want to thank Dr. Glover and Dean Stevenson for their work when it came to addressing our needs in housing. I know me and Top 4, we were making a lot of calls to our dean about students who needed housing, and they were very responsive to that, even to doing the extraordinary and getting us hotels. Nobody would ever thought. And I know we talk about social media presence, that's big in our generation, and social media was going crazy when it came to those hotels. We had such a positive image. There was one social media post where we got over like 50,000 likes and comments about what TSU was doing for their students. So even when we are in a perfect storm, as Dean Stevens would say, we are doing the best that we could do, and it's showing to other students who could potentially come here. So I want to make sure that even if it's shown on social media and not to your face, that it is recognized, and then that's such a huge presence to have for future students to come here as well. But I also would like to say that as we are moving forward with new dorms and improving our housing, I wanted to see if there could be on your mind the opportunity to improve our technology and information access to students when it comes to being on a wait list or where they are in the housing process. I do feel like improving that will take a lot of the heat off of our administration and off of the housing staff, because now you're not bombarded with calls and emails. Students can be able to log into My TSU and see, okay, I'm 87th in line for a new housing or something like that. I think we do need to up the ante on where we are with that technology and information access to also make everyone's communication better. So I would like, as we continue to improve housing, see an improvement in our customer service and how we get that information out to students as well.
So, Tiara, thank you so much, Trustee Tiara. It's we're going to make sure that housing, where technology will operate in that vein, under Dean Stevenson, as well as in our own technology department under Provost Harris. We'll just make sure that those two will meet. And we've already had some discussions regarding that, but we will continue and get that improved. Thank you. Oh, and I want to add, we earmarked. I got to ask VP Allen, what is the amount we earmarked toward technology? Mr. Allen, VP Allen.
Yes, ma'am, President Glover. We've actually earmarked $2 million for technology upgrades campus-wide.
So that will thank you. That will help a lot. We get that to upgrade this for students as well as faculty upgrades.
Thank you, Trustee Thomas. The next item on the agenda is Student Affairs Report. Information regarding this Academic Affairs and Student Affairs Committee agenda item is included in your board materials. President Glover, please provide information related to this agenda item. Again, this is informational discussion item only, so no vote will be required.
Dean Stevenson.
Thank you, Madam President and Trustee Martin. We are off to an amazing start to a great year, getting back to some sense of normalcy in terms of students' experiences on campus. And it is exciting. It's exciting to walk through the campus center and actually see students. It's a great time to be a Tiger. And I want to begin by saying to the executive team of our Division of Student Affairs for an amazing job of just preparing for this year. Our team has really dug in. Dr. Davis, Dr. Heitch, we've had over 18 hours of just training to prepare for this in our sessions, and our entire team has done an amazing job. Just a few things that are happening, and then I'll go over some of our COVID numbers. We will have the swearing in of our student officers today. So we are excited about our new student leadership. Our career fair will take place on tomorrow, and I want you to know that Tennessee State University is attracting some of the top companies across the country. We have over 140 companies that will be represented on our campus tomorrow. We're very excited about that. We're engaged in technology in new ways. We actually have other universities that are kind of asking us, how is it going, and how we do the telehealth, which has been a great success for students in terms of accessing health in this virtual space. And so that has been amazing. We're proud of that launch and that we're continuing that. So the question has come up about our COVID and our processes and our procedures and what that looked like. So I wanted to go into detail with some numbers for the board as it relates to our COVID protocols. And so I want to start by saying that our numbers, our students have done very well. They're being responsible, they're wearing their masks, they're practicing social distances, and it's showing up as it relates to our COVID numbers. The first couple of weeks, we did see a little bit of a spike. So right now we've had 100 students since the beginning of school that have tested positive for COVID. Of that 100, 7 are positive right now. 7 students are positive right now. So those numbers are very well compared to other institutions. And I believe that, I know that a lot of this is associated with the fact that Tennessee State University did something that none of the other students were able to do. We encourage students to get vaccinated with a $150 gift card. And that turned out to be a great success. We have over 50% of all of our students who live on campus are vaccinated, and that is a big deal. We're very proud of that. We think we created somewhat of a wall that's allowing us to push forward, and students are still getting vaccinated as we speak. And so we're proud of that. We're proud of how we're taking care of those students who do test positive so that their learning is not interrupted, and so that we can continue to make them feel secure. And we're also proud of students coming forward and being tested. We're testing over 2,000 students. When you look at the athletes and the bands, we're averaging about 1,000 students a week that are being tested. So we appreciate that. We're going to add a dashboard that'll be up next week that will give real-time numbers so that nobody will think we're hiding any information. We're doing very well. We want to tell our story. We want all of the HBCUs to see how Tennessee State University is able to move forward and do what we've been able to do through some very aggressive protocols that we put in place, and also through the incentive of encouraging our students to be vaccinated. And so having those two things in place has put us in a great space. And so that will conclude my report.
Dean Stevenson, in regards to the vaccine, do we still have the incentive going on for the students to encourage them?
Absolutely, that is still going on.
Okay, and are we continuing to reach out to them to let them know? And once we're doing that, are we sending them somewhere for the vaccine? Give me an idea of how that's working.
Okay, so we created the opportunity for students to be vaccinated on campus. Okay. And so they've been able to get vaccinated every day, Monday through Friday on our campus. We've engaged our SGA to help us do a new push. And so they're creating some social media type of announcements to give a new push to again hit that pocket of students who just put it off or were a little hesitant until it was approved by fully approved. And so we're doing a little bit of a push in that space now. And so students will still have the opportunity to be vaccinated on campus. We're just, it won't be every day. So we'll publish those days that the vaccination will take place. We're appreciative of both the health department, the Metro Nashville Health Department, and Meharry. Both entities have been on our campus since the beginning of school, and we appreciate those partnerships and those relationships.
Well, I think 50% is a good number, but we definitely need to make a push. Of course, 100 would be our goal. That would be a perfect world, absolutely. But when I think about Tennessee being #1 in the United States, I want us to do our part, whatever possible, to encourage our students to get this vaccine. Trustee Thomas, do you have any suggestions how we might be able to reach out and increase this number?
I think, first, I think the gift cards were an amazing idea. So I do think we need to do a better job of putting that out to students via social media. I haven't seen too much so far. So what Dean was talking about as far as our social media marketing, that's definitely being developed right now. I know I got my $150 gift card and used it within a week. So it's working for students, but I also think that we need to do more face-to-face. I know that's scary right now, but sometimes social media emails are out of sight, out of mind. So more face-to-face engagement, as well as maybe dropping a flyer in their bag of Chick-fil-A or just putting it in their face more. I recommend, in my opinion, I think some events need to move to, I feel like making things vaccinated only. Vaccination people only would push people to be more engaged in getting vaccinated because they feel like they might miss out. So I know that might be a harsh reality, but I also feel like it would push students to do more because now that I'm on campus, I can't do anything, but maybe if I get vaccinated, then I'll be able to have that experience. So that would be my opinion.
Thank you. Thank you.
Trustee Martin?
Yes.
I also want to congratulate Dr. Glover and Dean Frank Stevenson for the good work that they've done. I think, and thank you so much for the dashboard. I've been asking for that. So I appreciate that. The faculty have been asking for that. So that's a good thing. I think we have an opportunity to tell a very, very positive story here that I think we should jump on and take the lead in the HBCU community and certainly in the higher education community. So I think we have some positive information that we can share. And I think we ought to just blow that up. So congratulations. Thank you so much.
Trustee Martin, I also would like to say congratulations to Dean Stevens for the job he's done. I know how very difficult it is to deal with this program at our institution. We are doing so. And I do agree that we want to get past the 50% number. But in light of the fact that we did not have a mandate relative to vaccinations, et cetera, that is a great job that has been done. I do want us to look at making sure that we I guess it would be request that our students wear a mask. Not only, I mean, just to help protect themselves as well as others. I think we've learned at our institution that is a very critical factor. But just considering what he had to work with and how difficult this situation is to get done, I do say congratulations to Dean Stevens and the leadership of Dr. Glover, and thank you, Ms. Thomas, for the comments that you made, wherein you are correct. We just have to go back out and reach students more, and the gift card idea was tremendous. I should have known that before I came down mine. But thank you so much.
Thank you. Any additional comments or questions?
Thank you, Dean Stevens. I just wanted to chime in as well. I'm just want to echo what Dr. Cole has said. And again, thank you for doing a Herculean job, actually, in light of all the things that you were up against and continuing to move that needle forward in that area. So whatever we can do to continue to support you, know that we are here. These are unprecedented times, and just you charting a course through that and working through all of those contingencies. I mean, I know it's a challenge, but thank you again for the work you do.
Yes, thank you. Any additional questions or comments? Well, this has been a great meeting. It's always exciting to have the reports and the information firsthand. And I know if everyone's like me, when you look through your board materials, you get excited about what TSU is doing right now. So Dr. Glover, thank you for your leadership and your entire staff and faculty, all that they are doing, all that they continue to do. We know that it's a lot of hard work that goes into it every single day. And when I say every single day, I'm like Dr. Cole. Sometimes I get these phone calls, so you know that this certain person is working the weekend and I don't even know when they sleep. So I appreciate everything that everyone is doing. Is there any additional business we need to address?
Wait, Trustee Martin, before we,
Yes.
I did want to make sure on the record, we did say that we mentioned the students getting $100 and $50. We also made, that was offered $100 incentive to faculty and staff who were vaccinated, and over 800 faculty and staff are vaccinated. So that was a very good move. I mean, it was a very good participatory practice on their part too.
Yes, thank you. Is there any additional business? Seeing none.
One additional comment, since we have such a high number of faculty and staff who are vaccinated too, we ought to include that in the story too on the dashboard, that Tennessee State University faculty and staff are vaccinated. And I think that's a very, very high percentage for in higher education. So that's a good marketing point. So let's blow that up too. So thank you.
Thank you. Is there any additional business? Seeing none, is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
I move that the Academic Affairs and Student Affairs Committee adjourn the meeting. Any discussion? Hearing none, the questions on the motion to adjourn the meeting. Secretary Pendleton, please call the roll, sir.
Trustee Martin,
Yes,
Trustee William Johnson,
Yes.
2 ayes.
thank you. The motion's approved. We are adjourned. Thank you.
Okay,
I think the next meeting is the executive committee meeting.
yes.
So Dr. Cole, we're gonna go to the executive committee meeting next. Dr. Cole may have gotten
I'm here.
kicked off again.
Okay. I am on for Exec?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
very good. I'm sorry. Thank you. All right, now the executive committee meeting, the findings and necessity for conducting the executive committee meeting without the physical presence of a quorum. In accordance with the Tennessee Code annotated section 844108B2, as chair of the executive committee, I offer the following facts and circumstances in support of a finding of necessity for the executive committee to conduct September 16, 2021 meeting without the physical presence of a quorum. Number one, the executive committee is scheduled to take up important matters that require timely action by the committee, including a report on the president's annual performance review process and a report by the board secretary. Participation by electronic means is necessitated by ongoing health and safety issues pertaining to the COVID-19 pandemic. Electronic participation for the committee meeting is necessary to ensure that the safety of board members, staff, and guests while the institution implements additional measures to resume in its in-person operations. 3, accordingly, I move that the executive committee find that participation by a quorum of the executive committee members by electronic means of communication is necessary. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. The question is on the motion to find that participation by a quorum of the executive committee members by electronic means of communication is necessary. Secretary Pendleton, please call the roll.
Trustee Cole,
Yes.
trustee Martin,
Yes.
trustee Walker,
Yes.
3 ayes.
Okay, the motion carries. We will proceed with the meeting with the quorum present. Okay. All right. Well, good morning again. The September 16, 2021 Executive Committee meeting is now called to order. I want to first thank Dr. Walker for his leadership as chair of the board. And I did so much appreciate working under his direction and for the support of the board to become chair of this fantastic board of trustees. So Dr. Walker, I thank you for your leadership. All right. Before we get started, we need to make certain findings on the record regarding the necessity for conducting. We did. Yes, we did that. Okay. At this time, we need to call, okay, we did that.
Yeah, we'll officially call the roll.
Okay, all right. So Secretary, at this time, we need to call the roll. Secretary Pendleton, please call the roll.
Trustee Cole,
Yes, here.
trustee Martin,
Here.
trustee Walker.
Here.
Okay,
We have a quorum.
all right, thank you. Committee members, if you cannot hear or speak to other committee members or board members, please state so now. Okay, for each committee member participating electronically, please identify any individuals who are present in the location for which you are participating. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the June 17, 2021 Executive Committee meeting minutes. The minutes of the Executive Committee June 17, 2021 meeting are included for your review in the board material for the September 16, 2021 board meeting. I move for the Executive Committee to recommend to the full board the approval of the June 17, 2021 Executive Committee meeting minutes as contained in the board materials for September 16, 2021 board meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? The question is on the motion to recommend to the full board the approval of the June 17, 2021 Executive Committee meeting minutes as contained in the board material for the September 16, 2021 board meeting. Secretary Pendleton, please call the roll.
Trustee Cole,
Here.
trustee Martin,
Aye.
trustee Walker.
Aye.
3 ayes.
Okay, all right, the motion is approved. The next item on the agenda is a report on the president's annual performance process. This is information discussion item, so no notice required. And I will provide the report on the president's annual performance review process. Okay, normally we do the review and the chair will appoint someone to be in charge of making that review. I am evaluating that and I will do so and have Secretary Pendleton forward to you the decision as to the appointment of who will lead that particular process. Our goal is to have the entire process complete by the end of December 2021. And the way the process works is Dr. Glover will submit her information And from that, we get thoughts and process from other individuals. The discussion is made with her. Process, the report is prepared, it comes to the board, is reviewed. So at this point in time, I will make a decision as to whom will head that up. And Secretary Pendleton, I will ask that you will then send that information out to the board members.
Yes.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is the Secretary's report. No. Yes. The Secretary Pendleton, please provide your report.
Okay, thank you, Chair Cole. In interest of time, I'll just address a couple of items. I believe most of you are aware of the NCAA's decision regarding name, image, and likeness activities, and really authorizing states to do what they wanted to do regarding providing for student athletes to be able to make money from their name, image, and likeness. Some states don't have laws that pertain to this. In the state of Tennessee, we just passed a law in the last session that authorizes student athletes under certain circumstances to be able to make money to pursue compensation on their name, image, and likeness. There are some restrictions associated with that in terms of the endeavors that they can get into. And also some discretion on the part of the institutions in terms of what they want to do and sort of regulating this. One of the main things is most institutions currently, and this is going to be an evolving process, but most of the institutions right now are such where obviously student athletes are permitted to do so. But they must do so on their own and really not utilize the name and logo of the institution in, let's say, promoting a particular product. Because the issue you get into there is you don't want to pick and choose among student athletes and among the companies that they're associating themselves with on that front. But you still want to obviously give them the opportunity to do something. So we have been working with A.D. Allen and his staff to really sort of set out some guidelines for the student athletes in terms of what they can do and how they need to, from a procedural standpoint, when they are considering opportunities, what they need to keep in mind in doing so. For example, they're in the state law, it prohibits them from engaging in NIL activities that are associated with gambling, adult entertainment, and some other areas. And so that is something that we're in communication with them about. But we also think that this will provide student athletes with some opportunities that they didn't have before, where they are pretty restricted about how they could try to earn some money to help support themselves while they're in school. Another item is related to vaccinations. As I think you're aware, in the state of Tennessee, the law that was passed the last legislative session prohibits any institution from mandating vaccinations. Also, the NCAA does not mandate vaccinations. They do set out protocols, testing protocols that will depend on whether or not you are vaccinated or unvaccinated in terms of the particular protocol that you go through. Just want to bring your attention to a matter we had where involving a student athlete who was on a TikTok and indicated that he believed that he had suffered some sort of condition that affected his heart related to taking the vaccination. What I've seen in terms of a couple of social media pieces and one item where he was interviewed by a particular media outlet, he did make it clear, and they did clarify that neither the NCAA nor the Ohio Valley Conference, which is the conference that TSU's in, nor does TSU, none of them mandate a vaccination, and that a vaccination is something that is voluntary. And obviously, there's no information that really ties in to someone having a heart condition and a vaccination, but nonetheless, it's something that we are working through and working with the student athlete and working with Kelly Sharp's shop in terms of if there's any media attention associated with that. So in interest of time, I will leave it at that into those two items and take any questions that you may have. Okay. Well, that completes my my report, Chair Cole.
Okay, President Glover, do you have any comments?
No, thank you.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Secretary Pendleton. Is there any additional business to be brought forth? Seeing none, is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
I move the committee adjourn the meeting. Any discussion? Hearing none, the question is on the motion to adjourn the meeting. Secretary Pendleton, please call the roll.
Trustee Cole,
Aye.
Trustee Martin,
Aye.
Trustee Walker.
Aye.
The motion is approved. We are adjourned.
Do you want to take a quick break before the?
5 minutes.
I'm getting text messages. So can we take a break?
5-minute break. Okay.
Yeah, so the audit is scheduled for 10 o'clock. What time, Dr. Cole, you're chairing that. What time do you want to convene that then?
Based on my time, it's 9:53 now, so we will convene at 10 o'clock.
All right,
Okay.
7 minutes. That's
Thank
fine.
you.
Okay, we'll wait on Secretary Pendleton is back. All right. So good morning again. The September 16, 2021 Audit Committee meeting is now being called to order. Before we get started, we need to make certain findings on the record regarding the necessity for conducting this meeting by electronic participation without a physical quorum present due to the coronavirus pandemic. Findings for necessity for conducting the Audit Committee meeting without the physical presence of a quorum. In accordance with the Tennessee Code annotated section 844-108B2, as chair of the Audit Committee, I offer the following facts and circumstances in support of a finding of necessity for the Audit Committee to conduct the September 16, 2021 Audit Committee meeting without the physical presence of a quorum. 1, the Audit Committee is scheduled to take up important matters that require timely action by the committee, including a discussion and review of internal audits and external audits and outstanding audit issues and a discussion of items deemed confidential under state law. Participation by electronic means is necessitated by ongoing health and safety issues pertaining to the COVID-19 pandemic. Electronic participation for the committee meeting is necessary to ensure the safety of board members, staff, and guests while the institution implements additional measures to resume its in-person operations. 3, accordingly, I move that the Audit Committee find that participation by a quorum of the Audit Committee members by electronic means of communications is necessary. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. The question is on the motion to find that participation by a quorum of the Audit Committee members by electronic means of communication is necessary. Secretary Pendleton, please call the roll.
Trustee Cole,
Aye.
Trustee Pinnick,
Aye.
and Trustee McKenzie was not going to be available.
Okay. The motion carries. We will proceed with the meeting with the quorum present. Okay. At this time, do we have to call the roll again, Secretary Pendleton?
Yes.
Okay. At this time, we need to call the roll. Secretary Pendleton, please call the roll.
Trustee Cole,
Aye. Here.
Trustee Pinnick,
Present.
we have a quorum.
Okay. Committee members, if you cannot hear or speak, the elected committee members or board members, please state so now. For each committee member participating electronically, please identify any individuals who are present in the location from which you are participating. Okay. All right, before I get into the agenda, I want to thank Dr. Glover's team, Attorney Pendleton, Dr. Nicholas Phillips, for all the hard work they do in getting this information, this board information to us, the committee information, board information to us in a timely manner, and then also delivering the book. So thank you all so much. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the June 17, 2021 Audit Committee meeting minutes. The minutes of the Audit Committee June 17, 2021 meeting are included for your review in the board materials for September 16, 2021 board meeting. I move the Audit Committee to recommend to the full board the approval of June 17, 2021 Audit Committee meeting minutes as contained in the board materials for the September 16, 2021 board meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? The question is on the motion to recommend to the full board the approval of the June 17, 2021 Audit Committee meeting minutes as contained in the board materials for the September 16, 2021 board meeting. Secretary Pendleton, please call the roll.
Trustee Cole,
Aye.
Trustee Pinnick,
Aye.
Okay, the motion is approved. The next item on the agenda is the review of completed internal and external audits. Information regarding this Audit Committee agenda item is included in your board materials for the September 16, 2021 board meeting. I am asking President Glover, Director of Internal Audit, Ms. Adrian Davis, and other designated personnel to provide pertinent information related to this agenda item. This is an information discussion item, so no vote is required.
Dr. I'm sorry, I'm going to call you Dr. Davis. I'm going to call him Director Davis. Will you report on internal and external audits, please?
We have 3 audits to discuss today. There are 2 internal audits and 1 external audit. The first internal audit that we will discuss is the NCAA Student Assistance Fund. The student assistance funds are provided by the NCAA to the Ohio Valley Conference, who then disperses the funds to the participating institutions. The funds are provided to student athletes to assist them in meeting financial needs that arise in conjunction with participation in intercollegiate athletics, enrollment in an academic curriculum, or to recognize academic achievement. The OVC requests that the internal audit department reviews these expenses each year to see if they were made in accordance with NCAA guidelines. For the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2021, the athletic department expended $87,000. These expenses were in the category of insurance premiums, summer school scholarships for student athletes, reimbursement for tuition-related expenses, and other miscellaneous items. We did find that the expenses were in accordance with the NCAA guidelines, and there were no issues noted.
All right.
Okay. The second internal audit is an internal audit, but it's a follow-up of an external audit. The Division of State Audit reviewed our Title IV funding for the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2020. Their review of our Title IV funding resulted in 2 audit findings. We performed follow-up procedures to see if there were adequate corrective actions implemented to address the findings. The first finding noted that the Financial Aid Office did not adequately reconcile its direct loan records to the direct loan servicing systems records. Institutions that receive direct loan funding are required to monthly reconcile their direct loan disbursement records with the records of the Department of Education. They are to investigate the differences and resolve those differences in a timely manner. The auditors found that this did not occur during the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2020. As part of our follow-up procedures to see if this issue had been resolved for fiscal year 2021, we requested the 12 monthly reconciliations for that fiscal year. We were only provided with 4 of the monthly reconciliations, and we did not receive enough supporting documentation for us to be able to determine that the reconciliations were in fact complete. There was a difference in the last month's reconciliation that we did receive, which was for the month of March 2021, of $268,000. Management did inform us that they have resolved those differences, but we cannot confirm that, and these monthly reconciliations are required to be performed. So there is additional action needed to address that finding.
Okay, but Director Davis, I have a question for you, please.
Yes.
All right, so basically, this finding has not been corrected.
Yes, correct.
Okay. And why?
That'll be a management question. I know that I requested the information. It was not presented to me.
Okay. Dr. Glover, will you speak with the individuals that are responsible for this? Information must be presented to Director Davis in a timely manner. This finding should have been cleared. It was not cleared. And Director Davis, I'm going to ask that you do another follow-up audit on that. And I would expect that it be cleared.
Yes.
I will do that. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I'll follow up and present those results at the next meeting.
Thank you.
The second finding noted that the university did not return Title IV funds in compliance with federal regulations. Whenever a student does not complete at least 60% of the semester and they have received Title IV funding, then a return of Title IV calculation must be performed. The calculation will determine if there are any unearned funds that must be returned to the Department of Education. And those unearned funds must be returned within 45 days of the university determining that the student has withdrawn from the university. The state auditors found in the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2020, for 6 of 11 Title IV aid recipients, they had an error rate of 54.5%. Our follow-up procedures included obtaining the withdrawals for the fall 2020 semester and the spring 2021 semester to see if this issue had been corrected as far as compliance with the return requirements. We selected a sample of 40 students that withdrew during the fall 2020 or spring 2021 semester. And we found for our sample of 40 recipients, the return calculations for 6 of the recipients either had not been performed at that time or the return amount was not accurate. The university initially returned $9,614 for these 6 students. The correct return amount was $12,077. Once we brought this to management's attention, they did initiate correcting this issue and returning the accurate amounts for these students.
Let
We
me
also-
ask,
Yes.
oh, I want to ask VP Doug Allen to chime in on that.
Yes.
please.
Thank you, President, Madam Chair, and also Mrs. Davis. One thing that we've actually implemented now is when we pull down Title IV funds, we're not pulling down 100%. We're actually leaving a small balance in there to correct these type of issues. So it's really a cushion that we're leaving in the federal account to help circumvent the issue of not returning funds in a timely fashion. So I just wanted to bring that to record.
I have a question, a couple of questions actually. Maybe they are related, I'm not sure. Does attendance reporting or timely or untimely attendance reporting affect any of this? And my second question is, our formula funding from the state is also tied to enrollment numbers. And so is there any timing issue with disenrollment and our formula funding that we need to be aware of?
Let me just start by saying the enrollment now is a more of an indirect measure because it's tied more directly now to completion and moving through the system. So enrollment does have an indirect effect on it because we're not here, you can't progress.
Right.
And so that's why we've asked Mr. Allen, VP Allen, and Ms. Davis to get together on this one. Unfortunately, we don't have a report for you today, but we will definitely take care of that and to make sure that enrollment is going to be good numbers this year. But as far as we're concerned here, it could have had an effect and it could not. We're just not sure because we have to tie it back to the retention and numbers that we already have.
Okay. And the other one was about attendance reporting. Does it impact any of this?
Attendance reporting. I'm just trying to see what effect would attendance reporting have on it. If a person withdraws, that's where their effect would be. If they're not in class, it will affect them personally. It would affect them, but I'm not sure it will affect our federal funds by them not attending class.
Any other questions on that part? And the second part of that issue was not only the calculation errors. We did find where 20 of the 40 recipients, we had not returned the funding within the 45-day required time frame. So we did document a recommendation to management where we suggested that they should maybe implement a 7-day or 10-day time frame, wherein once they become aware that a student has withdrawn, that they will initiate the return calculation to ensure that the funds are returned within the 45-day time frame. And management did provide us with the corrective action plan after our report, where they indicated they will begin performing return calculations after the 3rd week in the semester. They will ensure that the start and end dates are accurate in the system, which impacts the accuracy of the calculation. And they will perform return calculations weekly to ensure that this area is corrected. And we will perform follow-up procedures and report that to you at the next meeting.
Well, Director Davis, under item number 2,
yes,
basically, or in summary, it wasn't corrected.
Correct.
Okay. And I'm going to call Dr. Glover's name so I am correct from a protocol standpoint as I speak to Mr. Allen, if that's okay with you, Dr. Glover. Mr. Allen, I'm sure that this information was this is information that you audited prior to Mr. Allen's arrival at the university. So, Ms. Allen, I'm going to ask in a very moderated tone that these items get corrected, that this report not come back to us in this manner. And Director Davis, as you said, you would follow up. I would like to see those follow-up procedures. I know that you have a lot to address, Mr. Allen, but this really concerns me because it's federal financial aid money. And I am very comfortable, Mr. Allen, that you will take the procedures necessary to correct this so that this report never comes back to this committee with these findings. Because it's just the concern I have is there were findings. There was an opportunity to correct them. The opportunity was not taken advantage of and it wasn't done. So as I said, in a very moderated tone, Mr. Allen, I'm asking you to please give your attention to that so that it will be corrected. And we appreciate everything that you're doing. And I know you have a lot on your plate. This is just one more vegetable we're going to add to it, okay?
Thank you, Madam Chair.
And thank you, Dr. Cole, because we've now transferred this area to BPL effective September 1. So he now will have the full range to make all the corrections to this, to he and Ms. Davis will have to sit and meet get caught up and go through this. So yes, we'll get this done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That is it for our internal audits. We now have our external audit, which was our audit of our financial statements for the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2019. The audit was performed by the Tennessee Division of State Audit. They did issue an unmodified, also known as a clean audit opinion on those financial statements, which means that they were fairly presented in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. There was a clean audit opinion, but there were 5 audit findings as a result of the audit. One of those audit findings is confidential in accordance with state law. The details of that finding cannot be discussed in a public forum. So we will discuss that confidential finding in executive session. There was a sort of an umbrella finding that noted that there was a pervasive issue with our internal controls, which really summarized the issues in the 4 remaining findings. And those findings were repeat findings. But they did document that, they did note that because we didn't prepare our financial statements timely and there were errors in our financial statements, they are charging us with addressing that issue, and management has done so. They have brought on new staff in both the business and finance area and the foundation. We have knowledgeable, qualified personnel who will be preparing the financial statements for the foundation and the university. We are currently awaiting the audited financial statements for fiscal year ended June 30th, 2020. We will need that information so that we can ensure our opening balances are correct for our fiscal year 2021 financial statements when they are prepared and submitted. But once we receive those audited numbers, we can prepare our fiscal year 2021 financial statements and submit those to the Board of Regents. As a result of the audit, they did note that there were many material changes they had to make to the notes to the financial statements for the foundation. But as a result of the audit, the net position for the unaudited net position for the university was decreased by $423,000, and the net position for the foundation was increased by $1.1 million. In addition to the finding related to addressing the preparation of our financial statements, we had another finding addressing the issues with our bank reconciliations. It was noted that there were unresolved amounts in each of the bank reconciliations prepared during the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2019. They noted that there was a material unresolved amount in the June 30th, 2019 bank reconciliation, but they also noted that management has identified much of that difference by March of 2021. And they also noted that we were not preparing the bank reconciliations within the best practices of 30 days. The university has enlisted the assistance of a reputable CPA firm who assisted with the preparation of the bank reconciliation during that time and for the current fiscal year that we're reporting on, ended June 30th, 2021. Another finding we had was in the area of the collection of our accounts receivables. That finding had two parts. It was noted that we weren't consistent in the collection of our receivables, and also that we weren't following our written policy. We had a written policy in effect at that time, but our practices weren't in line with that written policy. We have addressed that part of the finding. The management of the university presented and the Board of Trustees approved during our June 13, 2019 meeting, the revised accounts receivable policy. Because that policy didn't take effect until July 1, 2019, it was not used as the criteria by the auditors for this audit. There was an element missing in that policy. Management again brought that policy to the TSU Board of Trustees, who approved that revised policy on November 19, 2020. Management is still working to address the second part of the finding, where our system doesn't really allow for us to document all of our attempts to send out collection letters, and we are working on a method for documenting the retention of copies of the collection letters when we send them to the students who have receivable balances. And the other finding we'll discuss in executive session. But those were the findings that we could discuss, which were issues with preparing the financial statements, issues with reconciling the bank account, and issues in collecting our accounts receivables.
Director Davis, thank you so much. I do want to make one comment, and that is that please consider that, for instance, with the bank reconciliation, and I've mentioned this for several meetings, this is the 2019 year-end audit. Am I correct?
Correct.
Okay, so because these items were not cleared in 2019, it will come back up in 2020 audit. And I've mentioned that to you all on several meetings, and I just want to again bring that up. The other thing is that on these recommendations here, I know that, again, we've made changes in who the reporting and how it's going to be handled. I do want to make one comment in management's comments regarding the training. I think that is critical. Dr. Glover, I think we need to find the funds to present whatever training that we need to have for employees. I read over in detail the management comments, and I think they are very detailed. I am aware of work that has been done with outside CPAs and et cetera, because I have worked with both Dr. Glover, Mr. Allen, and our prior individual that was in the state in the position on this. So those things that, 2019 is gone. So all we can do is make sure going forward that we get these things taken care of and we address them in a timely manner. So while I don't like the comments that are here, I did make the committee aware that you were going to see these comments, and you're going to see some of them in the 2020 year-end audit. Does anyone else have any comments, please?
Yes,
Dr. Cole, let me, okay, you may go first, Ms. Allen. I want to just.
I'm sorry, President, you first, please.
Okay, I wanted to say that, as you said, it is 2019. We have corrected the deficiencies that noted in audit reports, and we prepared a report and we've given it back to the auditors. The most significant deficiency, as you know, was the failure to complete the financial statements and the bank's transaction in a timely manner. And the bank reconciliations we got caught up. We brought in new personnel to assist with a lot of the problems that we had, and some of them have gone away, and we're still working through some. We've updated all the processes. We've made the staffing changes, which is very, very important. Staffing changes and organizational changes. And we've corrected the foundation issues that we had. Several of the issues related to related to the foundation and the accounting for the foundation. We've gotten all of that done now. We've gotten all of that straight now. And so you'll see a marked change in how things are reported. Now I'm going to call on VP Allen, so you can go ahead, Ms. Allen.
Yes, thank you, Madam President, Madam Chair. Two things I want to point out, and Director Davis, you gave an excellent report, by the way. First would be on the collections of student receivables. As that has been a problematic area over the last several years, we actually have put in place a director for student collections that's going to be that individual's primary function to ensure that we have timely responses and reports, not only to the state of Tennessee, but also as it relates internally to collect those past due balances for students. So we're really ramping up those efforts in that area. The second thing I would like to note too is these recommendations and management comments that we have shared, such as the bank reconciliations, we are now current on the bank reconciliations, and we will be providing examples of those reconciliations as part of our SACS accreditation packet that goes out at the end of the month to show that we have performed our due diligence in these related areas.
Yes, thank you, CFO Allen and Dr. Glover. And I will have to say that I am personally aware of the work that has been done on the bank reconciliations. I've actually seen some of them, and I do know the work that was done, and I know the firm that was brought out. If you have not read the comments on page 49, relative management comments of what has been done, I encourage you to do so. There's been a lot of changes, a lot of realignment, and I am so pleased that we have fixed the financial statement accounting relative to the foundation area in terms of who handles that and how that is done now. So I just am looking forward to us continuing to improve in these areas. Are there any other comments? Okay. All right, the next, is that all, Director Davis? I'm sorry.
That is all.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is the review of the outstanding audit issues. The material for this agenda item are included in the board materials for the September 16, 2021 board meeting. I'm asking President Glover and Director of Internal Audit, Ms. Adria Davis, to provide pertinent information related to this agenda item. This is an informal discussion item and no vote is required.
Ms. Davis, go ahead and continue.
The outstanding issues item is one that's requested by the audit committee, where at each board meeting, they are aware of the issues outstanding at that particular time. These are issues that were noted as a result of both internal and external audits. We have also included in the report our anticipated start date to perform follow-up procedures for those internal audits where we did have findings that resulted from those engagements. Also, for the external audits, we have included the recently issued financial statement report for our fiscal year ended June 30th, 2019. At our next meeting, we do anticipate that that will be the fiscal year 2020 audit results, but we will keep you updated at that time of any findings that we have and the follow-up and the results of those follow-ups.
So Director Davis, you're referring to page 55.
I don't have the material.
Well, I guess what I'm saying, you're referring to the internal audit, the audit issues and the follow-up review and the status. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right. Okay. So that is on page 55 for those of you that do have the book. And those are items that I asked them to prepare so that we can keep up with what is being requested to be corrected. Does anyone have any questions in this particular area?
No, Madam Chair, but I want to say it's that information is very helpful to keep us informed.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. So is there anything else, Director Davis, under that?
That is it.
Okay. So is there let me see, at this point in time, we will go into executive session. Am I correct, Attorney Pennell?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So we'll need to vote to adjourn to go into executive session.
Okay, so I would like to at this time call for make a motion to adjourn this session to go into.
So moved.
Okay, second.
Second.
Okay, Attorney Pendleton, please call the roll.
Trustee Cole,
Aye.
trustee Pinnick.
Aye.
Okay, so what we'll need to do is, for executive session is only to have the board members and then Ms. Davis and myself.
I've identified the ones who may have a question, so she knows. So everybody should drop off except the board members and the cabinet members we've asked to stay who may have a question. We have a question, Harris, Mr. Allen, Mr. Pendleton. There may be some questions that come up that you have to ask in this executive session. Everyone else needs to drop off.
I think what I will do is move everyone into a breakout room. The people who are participating in the executive session, I will move you into a private breakout room. That way the streaming has stopped and all of that.